Hello students, how are you all? I hope everybody is fine. Today we are going to learn about computers. The first chapter of a computers is computer basics. So before starting with anything, I want to know everybody likes pizza? Yes, I know everybody likes pizza. So we go to pizza outlets for eating pizzas, right? There you go and you tell the chef uncle the various types of toppings you want on the pizza. Yes, then you pay the bill. Then what does the chef uncles do? The chef uncle process the pizza in the kitchen, and once the processing is done, he gives you the pizza, the yummy and the tasty pizza. So the computer also works similarly. Okay, the computer takes input from us. We are the users of the computer, right? So the computer takes input from us and it does the processing. And once the processing is done, it gives us the output. So students, computer works on electricity, right? It needs electricity to be started. So computer is an electronic machine that works according to the instructions given by us. What does it work on? It works on the instructions given by us. It takes the instructions, that is also known as the input. The instructions are the input given to the computer. The computer processes the input, and once the processing is done, it gives us the output. Now the computer can do a lot of different types of work. That is the reason nowadays it is being used at many different places. So in this chapter we are going to study what are the different places a computer is being used. Here are the few areas where computers are being used widely. The first place where the computer is used is at our home. Nowadays, you are attending your online classes through computers. Yes, you are coming online, you are attending your classes from your home. It is from your computers. Your parents are also working, doing the office work through computers. You have also used the computers for drawing pictures. You also draw in the paint, right? Yes, you can also do your homework. You type your homework in the computer. You can use the computers for typing letters. Then whenever you were going on a vacation, your parents used to book the tickets of the train or the flights from the computers. The computers are also used for paying the bills, the electricity bill, the phone recharge. You can use a computer for doing all these things. You can also listen music through computers and also watch TV on movies on computers. Yes, right? So are the some examples for which we used computers at our home, right? Okay. So the second place where we use computer is shops and malls. Okay, in shopping malls, computers are used for storing the list of items or for storing the information about the items or the products that are there in the shops and malls. Okay, it is also used for making the bills in a shop and malls. Yes, is it clear the two uses of computers where what are the places where the computers are used? It is home and shops and malls. Next we are going to see in the next slide. School. In schools, the computers are used by the students for studying. Yes, right? You use computers in your school for studying. Yes. Now, the computers are also used by your teachers. It is used by your teachers for typing the circulars, okay? For typing the notices. Then it is used for typing the test papers. Your test papers are being typed on a computer by your teachers. They also use computers for preparing your timetable, for maintaining your fee records, so who has paid the fees, who has not paid the fees, all the record is being maintained by the computer. Okay, it is also used for teaching new concepts. For example, now I have made the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, for teaching you, I have made PowerPoint presentation using my computers. I have also made the video using my computer. In school, it is also used in the school offices for keeping the record of the students, okay, for maintaining different information about the employees, for example, information about your teachers, okay, information about about the infrastructure of the school. Everything is being stored in the computers. The next use is in the offices. Okay, now in offices you can ask your mom and dad. In offices the computer is used for storing a large amount of information. In offices the employees communicate with the help of emails. Okay, emails have been used for communication. It is also used for doing calculations. Very big calculations in the offices are being done using computers. So the third and the fourth use was in the school and in the offices. The first use was in homes. Next was shops and malls. Third was schools, and fourth was offices and banks. The next place where the computer is used is a railway station and airports. Now on railway station and airports you have computers to store information about the trains and the planes. Now on a railway station, computers are used to keep the track of arrival of the train on the platform and departure of the train from the platform. Departure is when the timing when the train will leave the platform. Okay, and on the airports, the computer is used for keeping the track or keeping the information of when the plane will arrive at the airport and when the plane will take off. The timing details of the plane are been stored in the computer on the airport. Now it also stores the information of the number of seats available in a train or in a plane. Okay, the number of tickets that are available. So availability of the ticket, the information about the availability of the ticket is stored in the computers on the railway stations and the airport. The next use is in hospitals. In hospitals, computers are used for maintaining the records of the patient. Records is the information about the patient, information such as the name of the patient, the disease the patient is having, the number of days the patient is staying in the hospital, the medicines the patient is taking. All this information is stored in the computers in a hospital. Computer is also used for testing the eyes. There is a device which is linked to the computer, and from the computer screen you can view the eyes, and the doctor sees through the computer screen how is the eyes, how the eyes is, or it monitors the eyes through the screen of the computers. Now, in hospitals, it is also used for preparation of the reports. The, the reports of the patients are prepared using the computers. The next use is in scientific laboratories, or computers are used for scientific research. It is used for weather forecasting. Weather forecasting is the computer tells when it is going to rain, when it is going to be cloudy, when it is going to be cold, what will be the temperature, when is going to be sunny, and it also is used for launching the satellites. The satellite as in the rockets, okay? To satellite is it is used for studying the space. The device, or you can say the rocket, it is used for studying, which goes into the space for studying it, that is a satellite. For launching it, the satellite is been connected to the computer, and the satellite is been launched with the use of a computer. So all these were the uses of computers. The first one was at home, then in shops and malls, then in schools, offices and banks, railway stations and airports, hospitals, and at scientific research. Next, we are going to study about the characteristics of a computer. Now, what do you mean by the characteristics? Now, as a person, we also have characteristics. A person has characteristics like a person is tall, he is short, he is fair, a person is a dancer, a person is an artist. Now, these are the characteristics of a person. Similar way, the computer also has characteristics. Characteristics are the qualities of a computer. So the first characteristic of a computer is speed. The speed of the computer is very high. It can do a billion and billions of jobs in a second. For example, if you are using a computer to do calculations, suppose you want the addition of 50 plus 50. So within some seconds the computer will give you answer as 100. Again you want addition of a larger number, that is 500 plus 500. Again in some seconds the computer will give you answer as 1000. Now, if you want to do addition of more higher number, that is 10 lakhs plus 10 lakhs. Again within some seconds the computer will give you answer as 20 lakhs. So how much ever bigger the number is, the computer can give the answer, the computer can do the calculations within some seconds or within a fraction of second. So whatever job for which your computer you're using, for which you're using the computer can do the job within some seconds. Okay, so this was the first characteristic of a computer, that is speed, and the speed of the computer is very high. The second characteristic is accuracy and reliability. Accuracy means correctness. The computer gives correct result if we give proper instructions to it. Okay, we as a user, we give instructions to the computer. If we give proper instructions, the computer will always give us correct result. We can trust the computer. Okay, trust is reliability. We can rely on the computer, or we can trust the computer that the computer will always give us the correct result for the proper instruction we have given. Okay, so the second characteristic was, yes, accuracy and reliability. The third characteristic is diligence. Yes, what is the third characteristic? It is diligence. Diligence is the computer never gets tired. Okay, how much of a big calculations, how much of a big job you give to the computer will never say I am tired or I am bored. Okay, it will always do the work the user has given to it. It will keep on working for long hours. Okay, you can keep a computer working for a day and a night. The computer will never get tired, and also the computer can do same work again and again. If you ask a computer to play a same song for 10 times or 20 times, it will do. It will never say that I am tired or I am bored. It will keep on doing that work again and again. So the third characteristic of a computer was delivery. The fourth characteristics of a computer is huge storage capacity. That is, a computer can store lots of data which can be used as and when required. Now, let us take an example of a school. In our school, in a class, there are 30 to 40 students. Overall, in the whole school, there must be thousands of students, for example. Now, the school has to store the data of all the students, data such as the name of the student, roll number, address, marks, attendance. Okay, all this information needs to be stored. So, there is a computer in a school which stores all this information. So, can you just imagine how huge the storage capacity will be of a computer? In your offices, in the offices of your mom and dad, you can ask them. They also store a huge amount of data. Okay, so the next characteristic of a computer is multitasking. Multitasking is the computer can perform more than one task at a same time. It can perform easily various tasks at the same time. For example, at your home, you're doing some painting in the paint. Okay? Afterwards, you minimize the paint and you start typing something in the MS Word. Okay, now while typing, you feel bored. You feel like listening to music. So you open YouTube and you start listening to the music. Now, at the same time, you have Paint opened, you also have Word opened, and you also are listening to the music from the YouTube. So these are the different tasks the computer is performing at the same time. So students, did you understand what is the multitasking? Yes, multitasking is a computer can easily perform various tasks at the same time. We also studied about the huge storage capacity that a computer can store lots of data. Yes. Now, what are the five characteristics we studied about a computer? The first one was speed. The speed of the computer is very high. The second one was accuracy and reliability. Accuracy is correctness. The computer always gives you correct answer for the proper instructions you have given. That is, you can trust a computer that it will give correct answer. That is reliability. The third one was diligence. Diligence is the computer never gets tired and it can work for long hours and can do same work again and again. The next fourth one was huge storage capacity where a computer can store a large amount of data. Fifth one was multitasking. Multitasking is where a computer can perform various tasks at a same time. Next we are going to study about how does a computer work. Before that, I want you to know what is a IPO cycle, input process output cycle. In our day-to-day activities, we use input output process output cycle. Now, for example, your mom wants to bake a cake. Now, what are the ingredients a cake requires? What all are the ingredients a cake requires? All the ingredients she will put it together in a baking tray. Okay, so these are the input. Okay, all the ingredients are the inputs that are going to go in the cake. She mixes them all in the baking tray, then she puts the baking tray in the oven to process. Okay, the oven will now process all the ingredients and you will have the output as a delicious cake. Okay, what output will you have? A delicious cake. So here for baking the cake, what was the input? The ingredients. Who processed? The oven processed the cake and you had a delicious cake as the output. Here we followed the IPO cycle, input process output cycle. Now can you think of some more examples and break them down in the IPO cycle? Yes, I am giving you 1 minute. Think on it. Now, similarly, the computer also works on IPO cycle. Okay, so the computer works into three stages. The three stages are input, process, output. Now what is the input for a computer? The data and the instructions which a computer gets is called a input. Now from where does the computer get the data and the instructions? The computer get the instructions and the data from the input devices. What are the input devices? The keyboard, mouse, and there are some more we are going to learn in detail. Okay, whatever data we type from the keyboard, it is the input for the computer. What are the instructions we are giving from the mouse? For cut, copy, paste, moving the file, moving the cursor, the mouse gives the instruction to the computer. Okay, these instructions are the input to the computer. The next stage is processing stage. Now who does the processing in a computer? The CPU does the processing. What is a CPU? CPU is central processing unit. Okay, the entire data is processed or changed into meaningful information by CPU. Okay, now the third is output. The third stage is output. Now whatever the data is been processed by the CPU, whatever result you get is known as the output. The output is displayed through the output devices like monitor or printer. Yes, now you're using monitors. Okay, now whatever processing is done in the CPU, you can see them through the monitors. So monitor is the output device. You type from your keyboard and the CPU process it, and then you can see whatever you're typing on a monitor. Okay, so monitor is a output device. Here in this slide you can see in the form of the picture how the working of a computer takes place. First you have to give input to the computer. The input goes into the CPU. Okay, now here the keyboard you're using as the input device. Okay, now the CPU does the processing. Input is given to the CPU for processing. CPU does the processing and you have the result. You can see the result through the monitor. The result is known as the output. Okay, did you understand the IPU cycle of the computer? Okay, the input is given through the input devices. Then the processing is done by the CPU, that is the central processing unit. And whatever processing is done, it is given as the output to the monitor. Yes, or to the output devices. From the output devices, we can see the output. Input devices. With the help of input devices, we can communicate with the computers. Communicate means what? We can enter data and instructions with the help of input devices. Now we are going to learn in detail the different types of input devices. The first input device is a keyboard. Now a keyboard has many keys on it. The different types of keys that a keyboard has are alphabet keys from A to Z, the number keys from 0 to 9. You have different instruction keys. Okay, you have plus, minus, you have space bar for giving space, you have backspace key for erasing whatever you have written, you have delete for deleting the files and the folders, you have enter key, you have shift key. So these are the different keys from which help you to give data and instruction as input to the computers. The next input device we are going to learn is a mouse. Now, the mouse helps us to point or select a particular file or a folder, or you can say a item on the monitor. With the help of the mouse, you can draw in the paint. You can also drag an item from one place to another with the help of the mouse. You should not hold your mouse tightly. Okay, hold it lightly and just use a light touch when clicking a mouse button. Place the mouse on a clean and a smooth surface, preferably on a mouse pad. Okay, it is always preferable to place the mouse on the mouse pad and use it. We are going to see different kinds of mouse that are being used nowadays. The first one is a scroll mouse. Now, can you see in the image the red arrow is pointing towards the wheel in between the two buttons. Now, this wheel is known as a scroll. When you scroll this wheel, it moves the page up and down. Okay, it moves the page on the computer up and down. Now, a scroll mouse can be an optical mouse. Now, what is an optical mouse? Optical mouse is a mouse which has a red light under it. You can see, if you are using a mouse, you can see you must be using a optical mouse. At the bottom of your mouse there must be a red light. Okay, you must be seeing that on your mouse also. You must be having a scroll. Okay, with the help of that scroll you can move the computer page up and down. The next kind of mouse is a wireless mouse. Now, the wireless mouse, if you can see in the image, is not having a wire. It is not attached to your computer with the wire. Okay, it communicates with your computer using signals. It sends signals to your computer. It gives instruction to your computers via signals. Okay, as uh, as a remote control is connected to the TV, at as your TV works on your remote control, in a similar manner your compute wireless mouse is connected to the computer. Okay, did you understand what is a scroll mouse and what is a wireless mouse? A scroll mouse has a wheel like button in the between two buttons of your mouse, and this wheel is known as a scroll. When you scroll this wheel up and down, you can move your computer page up and down. A scroll mouse can also be a optical mouse. Optical mouse is which has a red light under it. Okay, now next is a wireless mouse. Wireless mouse is a mouse which is not connected to your computer through wire. It communicates with your computer with the help of signals. Okay, now a wireless mouse can also have a scroll. If you can see in the image, the mouse is having a scroll. Okay, after seeing the different types of mouse, now we are going to study what are the different actions that are performed by a mouse. The first action is a left click. Now, a left click is when we press and release the left mouse button once. Left clicking the mouse button lets us to select an item on a computer. For example, if you left click on a start button, you will get a start menu. Or if you left click on a file or a folder, you can select that file or folder. The next mouse action is a right click. A right click is when we press and release the right mouse button once. Right clicking a mouse button displays a list of options related to the clicked item. That is, for example, if you right click on a particular file or a folder, you will get options related to that file or a folder such as cut, copy, paste, send to, rename, etc. Or if you right click on a desktop icon, you will have options such as personalize the desktop. In the image you can see a mouse where it has left button and a right button. Okay, left click is on the left button to your left hand side and right click is on right button to your right hand side. Is it clear? Left click and right click? Yes? Okay, good. The next mouse action is a double click. A double click is when we quickly press and release the left mouse button twice. What did I say? A double click is when we quickly press and release left mouse button twice. Double clicking opens a window or an application related to the item clicked. That is, for example, if you are clicking a particular file or a folder, if you are double clicking a particular file or a folder, it will open that file or a folder. For example, if you double click on the paint icon, it will open the window of the paint. The next mouse action is a dragging and dropping. Now, what is dragging and dropping? Drag and drop is when you select on a particular item and you move it and drop it at another place, that is dragging and dropping. That is, you change the position of a particular icon from one place to another. You can see in the image, okay, dragging text is fun and easy. Yes, you press on a particular item, you drag it to different place and you release the mouse button. This is dragging and dropping. So what are the four mouse actions? The first one was left click, the second one was right click, third one double click, and the fourth one was dragging and dropping. The next input device we are going to see is a scanner. Now, you must have seen a photocopy machine, or you can say a Xerox machine. Yes, what is the work of that photocopy machine? It does it copies whatever is there, text or image, from one paper to the another. Okay, if you want to Xerox something, you do it. What you do? You do a photocopy of it. But a scanner creates a digital copy of it. Now, what is a digital copy? Whatever is there, the text and the image on your paper, it copies that to your computer. It forms a copy of it and saves it in your computer. That copy is also known as a digital copy. Yes, so a scanner creates a digital copy of what is there on the paper. It can be text or image, anything. The next input device we are going to see is a microphone. Now, a microphone is used to input sound into the computer. Yes, it records your voice or other different sounds to the computer. For example, if you want to narrate a story and store it in the computer, you can narrate into a microphone and it would be stored in your computer. So, for example, nowadays the microphones are combined with the headphones. Now, I am talking now whenever we you attend your online lectures, you must be putting your headphones. Now, from the same headphones, you can also give your voice to the computer. There is a mic attached to it. Okay, so a microphone is used to input sound into a computer. So, what are the four input devices did we see? The first one we saw, that was a keyboard. The second one was mouse. Third is a scanner. And fourth is a microphone. Now we are going to learn about the processing unit. Before we saw that a computer works on the principle of IPO. What is the IPO? Yes, IPO is input, process, output. So, which part of the computer is responsible for processing the data and instructions? Yes, it is the CPU, that is your central processing unit. Now, CPU is known as the brain of the computer. Why is it known as the brain of the computer? As your brain is the most important part of your body because it gives instructions to you. Yes, it gives all the instructions. Whatever we do, we are instructed by our brain. Similarly, the CPU is the brain because whatever a computer does, The CPU instructs and controls the computer work or computer actions. Okay, so what a CPU does, a CPU takes the input, process it, and gives out meaningful information or meaningful information as a output. A CPU takes the input, process the data and instructions, and give out meaningful information. Now, a CPU is always kept inside a box, and the box is called as a CPU box or the CPU cabinet. All the parts of the computers are connected to the CPU box using the wires. Okay, the different parts of the computer, the monitor is connected to the CPU, the keyboard is connected, mouse is connected to the CPU. So all the parts are connected together through the CPU, and they are connected to CPU through wires. Now the CPU has three main parts. The first part is arithmetic and logical unit. Second is control unit. And the third one is a memory unit. Now, what is the work of this arithmetic and logic unit? Arithmetic and logic unit is responsible for doing all types of calculations and all types of logical calculations. Logical calculations like you know to find out how to find out greater numbers, smaller numbers, and so on. These are known as logical calculations. So whenever a computer has to do any logical calculations, the arithmetic and logic unit of the CPU does it. All the mathematical calculations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division are also done by the arithmetic and logic unit of the CPU. The second main part is a control unit. The control unit works like a manager. It controls all the parts of your computer, and it also controls the working of all parts of the computer. It sees to it that all the parts are working correctly and all the operations are taking place correctly. So control unit is a manager of the computer. The third main part of the control unit is memory. So the third main part of the central processing unit, that is your CPU, is memory unit. What is the work of the memory? It stores all the data and the instructions that need to be processed. Okay, it takes all the data and instructions from the user. It is stored in the memory unit, and from memory unit it is been passed to the different parts of the computer. Okay, the memory unit takes the data and instruction, and then it passed to the arithmetic and logic unit, control unit, etc. And when the data is being processed, again it is being stored in the memory unit, and then the memory unit pass it to the output devices to show it to the user, or it gives to the output devices, and then for the output devices passes it to the user of the computer. We are going to see in detail the output devices. Output devices are used to display the result of processing. Okay, whatever that has been processed by the CPU is displayed by the output devices. The first output device we are going to see in detail is a monitor. Now, the monitor looks like a television screen. The actions that you perform with the help of the input devices like mouse or keyboard are displayed on the monitor. We can also view pictures, see movies through the monitors. The monitors are also known as VDU. What is VDU? VDU stands for Visual Display Unit. Now, the monitors are of two types. The first type is CRT, also known as cathode ray tube, and the second one is thin film transistor. It is known as TFT. Now, CRT were the monitors, they were used earlier. They were very bulky and consumed a lot of electricity. They needed a lot of electricity and also emitted a lot of heat. Okay, they generated a lot of heat. But the thin film transistor, that is TFT monitors, are the monitors which we use nowadays. They are thin, they occupy less space, they also require less electricity, and they generate a less amount of heat as compared to CRT monitors. Next output device we are going to see is a printer. Now, a printer copies the information that you see on a monitor onto a paper. Whatever information is there on the monitor, whatever you have typed from your keyboard, or any image that you can see on your monitor, you can have it on a paper. The printer does the work of copying whatever is there on your monitor to a paper. Now, the paper on which you have the print is known as the printout. Now, some printers are black and white while some are color printers. Now, the black and white printers you have only you get only black and white printout, while from color printers you can get the print in any color. There are various types of printers available in the market. For example, inkjet printer and the laser printer. The laser printers work very fast as compared to other printers. You can see in the image there are two printers, inkjet printer and the laser printer. Speaker. Now, speaker is a output device. Speaker is a output device from where we get sound as a output. For example, if you are playing any music in the computer, you can listen that music through the speakers. Okay, the music is given as the output through the speakers. The next output device you have is a headphones. Now, the headphones also have speakers, but the difference between speaker and headphones is in headphones only the person wearing the headphones can hear to the music, but the speaker everybody sitting there can hear the music. Okay, next topic we are going to learn about is a storage devices. So, tell me, whatever work you are doing on a computer, you want it to be stored? Yes, right? For that, you need storage devices. For example, now you're getting a lot of study material online and you have to store it on your computers. So, where will you store it? You will store in the storage devices of your computer. Yes, so the devices used for storing the data are known as secondary storage devices or storage media. Here now we are going to see about the different storage devices. The first storage device is a hard disk. The hard disk is the main storage device of a computer. Okay, it is present inside the CPU box and it can store a large amount of data. Okay, whatever work you are doing on the computer, all your homework, all your drawings in the paint, everything is been stored in the hard disk. All of your application, your everything in your computer is been stored on a hard disk. So just imagine how huge the storage capacity of the hard disk must be. Say in the picture, the hard disk looks like this and it is present inside the CPU box. Yes, the second storage device is a compact disk. It is also known as CD. Yes, a CD, that is a compact disk, is a storage device that is circular in shape. As you can see in the image, it is circular in shape and it can also store a lot of data, but it can be easily carried from one place to another. As you can say, it is lightweight, it is thin, and it is small. It can store most of the programs or the games that you have on your computer, and you can also copy those programs, those games from your computer to the CD, and the CD can be used for a CD can be used in other devices for again copying those applications and games. The next storage device is a DVD. Now, DVD stands for Digital Versatile Disc. Now, a DVD looks like a CD but can store a large amount of data than a CD. A DVD can store more better quality videos and better quality of audio formats than your CD. In DVD, we can store many movies. Now, for connecting your CDs or DVDs to the computer, you need to insert CDs and DVDs into the CVD or the DVD drive. Your computer has a CVD or a DVD drive. You can insert this CD or DVD into it, and then you can use it as a storage device. The next storage device is a pen drive. Now, pen drive is a storage device which is very small in size. You can see in the picture it looks like it is so small. Yes, and which can be easily carried in the pocket or a bag. It can be used to store and transfer data from one computer to another. That is, you can attach to a computer, you can store the data in it, then you can remove the pen drive and attach it to some different computers, and there again you can copy the data from the pen drive. It works when inserted into universal serial bus port. Okay, the computer is having a USB port. A USB port is a universal serial bus port where you can insert the pen drive and use the pen drive as the storage device. Yes, did you understand what is a pen drive? A pen drive is a storage device which is very small in size. As you can see in the image, it can be fitted in your pocket or any bag. It is connected to your computer through universal serial bus port. There is a USB port for your computer. Okay, so what are the four storage devices that we see? First one was hard disk. Hard disk is the main storage device of your computer. The second one is the CD, that is compact disk. Third one is digital versatile disk, that is a DVD. And fourth one is a pen drive. The next we are going to see the hardware and the software. Now, a computer is made up of different components. These components are majorly classified into two types, that is hardware and the software. Now, we human beings have different body parts, right? We have our hands, we have legs, we have mouth, lips, we have eyes, ears. These are the body parts that we can see, we can touch. Okay. Similarly, the computer is having hardware. Hardware are the part of the computer that can be touched, that can be felt, and that can be seen, such as the keyboard, the monitor, and the CPU, the hard disk are the examples of the hardware of a computer. Okay, then the next important component of the computer is a software. Now, in humans, we have emotions. Okay, our body parts behave according to our emotions. So, whenever I am happy, my happy emotions tell my lips and tell my mouth to laugh loudly, and I act according to my emotion. Whenever I am sad, my sad emotion instructs my eyes to cry, and my eyes starts crying. Whenever I am hungry, my hunger emotions tell my hand and tell my hand to take food to my mouth, and my mouth starts chewing it. So my hunger emotion instructs my hand and mouth. So similarly, the computer hardware alone cannot work. It also needs something to instruct it. So A set of instructions given to computer to perform a given task is called a computer program or software. Okay, the thing which instruct the computer hardware to work is known as a software. So as our emotions cannot be seen, emotions cannot be touched, similarly a computer cannot software cannot be seen and cannot be touched. For example, your paint is a software. Can you touch paint? No. Your WordPad, your Microsoft Word, your Windows operating system, all these are the softwares. You cannot touch the software. Okay, we are going to learn in detail the types of software. There are two types of software. The first one is a system software. Now, the system software is a built-in software which is responsible for proper functioning of your system or a computer. Without system software, your computer cannot function properly. It controls all the tasks that a computer does. Okay, now a system software consists of an operating system which helps the computer to run. Yes, without system software, a computer cannot run. A system software consists of an operating system which helps the computer to run. It is necessary for each computer to have a operating system. For example, Windows. Windows is the most popular example of the operating system. You also have Linux, you have iOS, okay? In Apple computers, in the Mac, you have iOS, right? Next is the second type of software is a application software. Now application software is a software which does a specific type of work. For example, if you want to draw something on the monitor, you use paint. So paint is used for doing a specific task, that is drawing. So that is the application software. The softwares that are used for doing a specific type of work. Second is your MS Office, MS Word, okay, that is used for typing, okay, for a specific purpose. That is a application software. Your games, okay, game is a application software. So did you understand what is a software? A software is a computer component that you cannot see and it is used for operations. There are two types of systems, or there are two types of software. There is a system software and a application software. This was all for your in your first chapter. Now we will have a quick recap what we studied in our first chapter. First we saw the uses of the computer, the different places where a computer is used like homes, schools, banks, offices, hospitals and for scientific research. Then we saw a computer works on the principle of IPO, that is input, process and output. Then we saw the input devices. The input device is used for providing data and instructions to the computer. Then we saw the central processing unit, that is CPU, and the main parts of the CPU. Then we saw the output devices. Output devices are used for displaying the results of the processing. Whatever is that is being processed by your CPU, the output devices gives us the output. Next we saw about the storage devices, different storage devices that are used for storing the data on your computer. The storage devices are hard disk, CD, DVD and a pen drive. Then we saw the hardware and the software. The two main components of a computer are hardware and the software. There are two types of software, system software and application software. The type of system software is, for example, a operating system, and application software is the types of applications software are your paint, your MS Word and your gaming applications. So this is all that we studied in our first chapter. Did you understand, students? Yes, very good. So the question answers of this chapter and all the objectives, fill in the blanks, we are going to see in our next video. Okay, till then, bye, take care, thank you.